your second husband passed, so that was
Yeah.
that was another blow
Exactly.
that you had to deal with.
And that was very, very sad, but it was just almost nothing I could do. And because at that time I was in a suit with Life magazine, because they had done a story, they were doing a story on black models in the business and whatnot. And they interviewed me and other blacks who had also, there were Branford and Sepia, who had started out around the same time I did in the modeling business, but they didn't sustain, for a long period of time because the money wasn't there. And they had interviewed all of us in reference to the history of the blacks in the modeling business. And then they gave the whole story to whites. And to put a little thing in there about me, what I said is that I went down 7th Avenue to get, I was doing a fashion show to get some clothes. And, I went to the wholesalers, not the retailers for the clothes for the fashion show. And one of the houses I went to, and I don't want to call the name, went to one of the houses, and suit and coat house. And I told them I needed some fashion clothes for the fashion show. They said, oh, fine, fine, fine. And they brought out the owner and whatnot, and he said, oh, wonderful. In the meantime, I showed him the pictures of my models, and they were black, black models. And, oh, boy, it scared him to death because that was, he had never seen that before. And he ran into his office and backed into his office, and I said, like a doodlebug. And that's what they put in the article to make me look silly, because I said he ran into his office like a doodlebug, and to make me look silly. And that's all they put in there. That's the only history I gave them out of the whole article. Now, that's the little bit that they gave me. So I brought a suit against them, and people suing Life magazine. Oh, they'll put you out of business. Well, Life magazine went out and they came back. But what I did is that I knew no one had won any money against big media at that time. No one, you can sue, but you wouldn't make. I didn't expect to get any money. I was doing all this other stuff and getting any money, so I didn't expect any, but I really gave them a fit. So I brought a suit against them, and then I picketed them. And that time, I was big with the civil rights. I knew them all. I know Martin Luther King, Whitney Young. I knew them all. I knew them all. They were my friends, see. And I called a strike. I mean, a picket, Life magazine. Got all the civil rights people over here. As a matter of fact, the Shopton might have been it. I don't know whether Shopton was there or not. But anyway, Bill Jones, who was that time was the national executive director of SCLC. He wasn't the director, under Martin. He was under Martin. And so we picketed in front of Life magazine. And in the meantime, I called a press conference in Life magazine's office, in their place. So they said, you can't call a press conference in our place. I said, watch me. So I did, and we had all signs of segregation, all kinds of racism and whatnot. And anyway, that was the suit we brought, and it was just to let them know, don't try and play tricks again. Don't come and take our history and give it to somebody else. And, well, how did it end? Most people want to know how it ended. It ended, I didn't expect to get any money, but what happened is to show you how tricky it is. We don't know when the trial was set for. My lawyers didn't get anything. Flo Kennedy was one of my lawyers. You're familiar with Flo, aren't you? Mm-hmm. So Flo Kennedy was one of my lawyers. I forget who the other was right now. And when they had the trial, our lawyers didn't know about it. It was finished. It wasn't recorded. The clerk of the court hadn't recorded it, anything. But someone from the press found out about it and said, "Oh, the suit was thrown out or something." So nobody knew about it. My lawyers didn't know about it. But anyway, they had gotten together on it, and about 4 months later, that judge was kicked off the bench. Not about that, but he was kicked off the bench. So they had made a deal going.
Right.
But as no one else had won. White hadn't won anybody, but as I said, I didn't do it because I thought I could get any money.
Right.
I did it because I was making a statement. And I picketed them in front of their building and called a press conference in their building. And we had all kinds of signs and racism and everything.
I read somewhere that one of the signs was inked out by racism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, and so you were making the point that this large white publication could not simply write the history that they wanted. Yeah. That they had to include. Yeah. And stealing it from someone that they had taken information from and given it to a white party. Mm-hmm. They've been stealing it for years, and I was saying, don't mess with Jane or whatever. Right. See. Right. So and
you have to stop people sometimes, because if you take it, they'll continually push till they push you in the river.
Were you at all nervous about taking on Life magazine?
No. That's why I call a press conference in their building.
But I'm sure a lot of people, most people in that situation would have said, this is too much. I can't handle this. They would have backed off.
Well, that was nothing compared to being being in Biafra in the war, in Nigeria on the war front. It was nothing compared to that. You see, so I've been in much scarier incidents than Life magazine. And the reason why I brought up Life magazine at this particular point, because when my husband, at this particular time, he had something came up in his past, and there was a situation that was happening, and I couldn't get down there. And well, anyway, his death is also a big question mark, and someday it might probably write a story around that, but it's a very, very, very tricky kind of thing.